When you think of Amsterdam, three things usually come to mind: its infamous red light district, its iconic canals, and its famous bike culture. The city's flat terrain, compact size, and 515 kilometers of dedicated bicycle lanes make for a perfect cycler's paradise. Around 40% of all trips in Amsterdam are made on a bike, and their resident cyclists cycle around 2 million kilometers every day, which is enough to go to the moon and back 2.5 times. Long celebrated as the bicycle capital of the world, the Dutch take their cycling very seriously. But if they take their cycling so seriously, how come nearly 20,000 bikes are dredged up from its canals each year? How come so many videos like this exist? How is it that Amsterdam's world-famous canals have set a Guinness World Record for most bicycles recovered from a city's waterways and become one of the world's largest bicycle dumping grounds? This is Wes. He's an Amsterdam native who has the unique perspective of having grown up in Amsterdam and also lived abroad.
Hi, my name is Wes. I'm 30 years old. I live in Amsterdam and I own one bicycle that I use as a means of transportation to get to the office and basically to return back home.
In Amsterdam, there is a population of around 918,000 residents, with an estimated 880,000 bicycles compared to its 263,000 cars. In the same way, roughly 78% of Amsterdammers own at least one bike. It's in their DNA.
So having lived basically all my life in Amsterdam, for me, it's nothing different. I'm very used to the fact that there are a lot of bicycles, to the fact that the whole world over there is driving their bicycle. Until the moment that I went abroad. The moment when I started living in other countries were the moments that I understood how unique the bicycle culture in the Netherlands is. And that's the moment when I started to feel proud of that fact.
The Netherlands have also pledged a reported €780 million to bring its bicycle infrastructure budget to €1.1 billion by 2030, in which the expansion of their cycle highways and massive bicycle parking structures are included. But it wasn't always like this. In fact, back in the 1960s, Amsterdam traffic-filled streets looked more like a busy New York street than, well, New York. Like most of the world, the Netherlands was swept up in the automotive boom. Having come off a brutal 5-year occupation by Nazi Germany during World War II, in which much of their infrastructure was damaged and bikes were stolen, the number of cars would explode from less than 200,000 to almost 3.5 million in the Netherlands by the 1970s. But with the rise of the automotive industry came the rise of car-related fatalities, particularly among children, which sparked public outrage. The turning point came in 1971, when the child of a journalist was struck and killed by a car, causing him to write an article that loosely translated to "Stop murdering the children." It, of course, inspired a wave of protests. This, coupled with the oil price crises and the steep rise of building car infrastructure over the next few years, led local governments and citizens to begin considering alternative means of travel. That being said, there were many other nuanced factors that also led to the rise of bike culture in the Netherlands that I don't have the time to get into in this video, but it's worth looking into at some point if you're interested. Over the past few decades, Amsterdam's tourism has absolutely boomed in popularity. It was everywhere you looked in movies and TV and social media.
We are going to Amsterdam. Come on! True.
Tourists, expats, and students alike flood into Amsterdam each year. Some come for the culture, a lot for the red lights, but invariably they all seem to find themselves enthralled with the idea of biking everywhere as the main means of transportation. It feels fun and distant from their car-dominated lives back home. With so many bikes densely packed into a small city, it can create some unique challenges. And with the influx of people comes a need for more bikes, tens of thousands more on top of the almost 1 million bikes already floating around the city. This is due to the number of bike-sharing companies popping up. And as for the tourists, expats, and students, well, they do tourist-like things, like parking their bike unsecured too close to the edge of canals, only to be bumped or blown into the water. It happens more than you think. They also tend to be less cautious and mindful of proper bike security, which makes their bikes prime targets for easy theft, which is another huge issue, not just in Amsterdam, but in the Netherlands as a whole. They have the highest rate of bicycle theft in the EU, with close to 500,000 per year. Amsterdam alone accounts for anywhere from 11,000 to 80,000 reported thefts each year.
Everyone has some experience with their bicycles being stolen. Everyone from Amsterdam, from the big cities, It's a normal thing. When you grow up, especially around the age of 18, 20, you go out, you park your bicycle at the bar, and you would lose it. It's that simple. And the crazy thing about it is that people are used to that. So it's not something special when your bicycle gets stolen. You just buy a new one. In here, no one would ever file charges after their bicycle would be stolen because it's not worth it.
Stolen bikes are rarely recovered and often used in crimes. Thieves will use the bikes, then dump them into the canals afterward, or simply strip them for their parts and discard the rest into the canals to hide the evidence. To try and combat this issue, local governments are trying to create more awareness with increased signage, more parking areas for bikes, and increased railing. But it's expensive, and some residents complain that more railing means more bikes chained to them and fewer views of the canal. However, probably the biggest contributor is simply vandalism.
In another way, it's very understandable that there are so many bicycles in the canals because Amsterdam especially has a huge night scene. People head over there with their bicycles and park it next to the canals. When there's drunk people at night being bored, they just have to throw the bicycle and that's it. It will be in the canal.
It's a bizarre phenomenon, the drunken urge to throw any unsecured bike you see into the canal. And what's even more weird is that it's not actually exclusive to Amsterdam. China and Paris have problems with people tossing bicycles into their waters as well. It seems like there is some sort of weird satisfaction people seem to get watching bikes slowly slip beneath the surface of the water. For the Dutch's part, they have begun active stay-away campaigns to encourage those they consider nuisance tourists who come for the rowdy pub crawls and belligerent behavior to find other places to vacation.
Officials in the Dutch capital Amsterdam have launched a digital campaign to try to reduce the number of British tourists coming in search of drugs, sex and alcohol. Discouraging adverts like this one will target 18 to 35-year-old men in the UK.
As it stands, Amsterdam's canals already have some of the EU's worst water quality and are not considered safe for swimming.
From a young age, we are taught that we should not jump in a canal because there could be a bicycle that could potentially hurt you. So we are kind of used to this phenomenon.
All this is in stark contrast to the country of Netherlands as a whole, whom is widely regarded for being at the forefront of all things water-related and whose drinking water is among the cleanest in Europe. There are various campaigns for ridding the canals of trash though, and some offer interesting business opportunities for entrepreneurs. For example, boat companies offer a unique experience for tourists. Instead of fishing for fish, they allow tourists to fish for trash while touring the canals. Additionally, the local government has employed salvage experts, nicknamed bike fishermen, who regularly venture into many of the 165 canals with boat-mounted giant claws that can wrench up bikes from the watery canals.
There's a day in a year that the canals are being swept, are being cleaned out, and we are completely used to the fact that this will bring thousands of bicycles. This will result in thousands of bicycles getting pulled out of the canals.
It's part of a larger plan known as the Amsterdam Water Vision 2040 to clean up Amsterdam canals and make them swimmable in the future.
It's nice that the canals are being cleaned out, but yeah, a bicycle is like it's like the best thing that you can encounter in a canal because there's weapons over there, there's drugs being thrown in the canal. It's not a bicycle. It's like a very innocent thing that you can encounter.
So what happens to the dredged up bikes? In Amsterdam, they are recycled and sold as scrap metal. Programs have been put in place to turn the discarded bikes into various types of food packaging, including the metal used in beer cans. A bit ironic. A drunk person tosses a bike into the canal. The bike is recovered and recycled into another beer can for another person to drink one too many and toss another bike into the canals. It's the ultimate self-serving loop. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. If you liked it, hit the like and subscribe. I'm the Curious Panda. Stay safe, stay kind, and as always, stay curious. Bye.